Before you do a lick of research when it comes to diet or exercise, you need to be training hard. Look, I hate to say it, but training hard is the most important factor by a mile. And if you're not doing that, you are going to get beat out by idiots in a tank top that have 2 water jugs and don't even know what muscles they're training. Look, some of these jack guys, some of it's steroids for sure, but some of these jack guys, you could ask them, you're doing a pull-up and they're going all out. All out. They're fainting after their sets. Their hands are bleeding. I mean, they are going close to failure or to failure. And you ask them, what is this training? They don't even know the muscles in the back. They might know the traps. They might know the lats. They're not naming the spinal erectors. They're not naming the rhomboids. They're not naming the rotator cuff muscles in the rear delt. They don't know that stuff. You're lucky they even know where the lats are at. But they're still more jacked than you. They are still more jacked than most exercise science majors. You've got people with exercise science majors that are double majored in engineering. They know everything. They know the exact point and where the bicep has the most leverage and exactly how many reps and sets you can do at each level. They know exactly how many hours it takes to recover, and they still are less jacked than the dumbass with the wife beater on with 2 water jugs and doesn't even know what he's training. You ask the guy, what is the bench press training? And he's like, my biceps. And he's still more jacked than the experts because he trains hard. And at the end of the day, training hard is the most important thing. It really is. Training hard, in a sense, you're driving your car. Training hard is the engine and the transmission. As long as everything else is sort of intact, you've got 3 tires and you've got a body and you've got a few other things, you can drive the car. Now, if you have everything together, if you have the diet, if you have the sleep hygiene, if you have the form, if you've got everything together, your car can go on the interstate and it can drive across the country. But we're not talking about driving across the country. Nobody is generally maxing out their muscle growth. What I'm talking about is you have the pretty tires and you waxed and you have the new headlights and you have the pretty steering wheel, but you don't have the engine and transmission. He's got the engine and transmission. You don't have anything. You've got nothing. And that's why they gain more muscle. So if you can only do one thing, and this thing doesn't take a high IQ, this thing doesn't take great genetics, this thing doesn't take a lot of time to do research on, train hard. It legitimately is that simple. And you don't need to know how many sets to do. You don't need to know how many reps to do. You don't need to know if the bench press or the dumbbell bench press or the chest fly is the best. You don't need to know any of that. Anybody can train hard. It doesn't matter what country you're from. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter if you got good genetics or if you got bad genetics. If you train very hard, I mean, that's the most important thing by a mile. Legitimately, it is. And there is no debate. There is nothing you can reply to and say, well, actually, diet matters more when it comes to building muscle. It doesn't. A perfect diet with lackluster effort in the gym is going to build no muscle. It's going to build zero. Now, obviously doing both things is ideal. But before you do hours of research on what protein snack is the best, how about you train hard? Once you start training hard, then you can start dialing in other things. But if you're not training hard, you need to learn how to train hard. And some people can't. You know what? Unfortunately, at the end of the day, there are some people who just don't have it in them. They just, for some reason, and you think that, lifting hard would be pretty simple because it's the most ubiquitous thing when it comes to just like pure equality because anybody can train hard. You could be missing 2 legs and still bench press really, like legitimately any circumstances, any person can train hard. There is no excuse. There is no, my parents and nothing. Train hard and then get back.